Well, good evening, everyone. I have to look at the little button up there. How are you doing? Well, thank you for stopping in on Friday night. Now I have to hold on one second here. Let's see. There we go. Now I can mute it. So, again, welcome. Hope you're having a good evening. Again, got to give the driver opportunity here to get the controls right. Because right now he is, there we go. There we go. All right, got it. It's like sometimes putting on a new pair of shoes. It just takes a little bit. So, how was your week? Good, I hope. I hope so. Got some interesting stories that thought we would talk about. I'm not sure if you have actually heard about this one yet, but I'm going to pull this up and kind of let you see this as well. So you can see right here that according to the Daily Mail, a deadly airborne plague. Now, my wife, who's a nurse, was pointing this out to me. Normally, the plague is spread by mostly body fluids. This one is airborne. And what really makes it even worse is that it can stay alive on the surface for like days. It's, I want to show you where this is at. So this is where it's now a pandemic. 1,300 cases have been reported in Madagascar. Yeah. Do you know that they say that we are 72 hours from a global pandemic? That the way that things travel today and how people move around so quickly, that within 72 hours, you could have a global pandemic that would dwarf the 1918, pandemic of the Spanish flu. Yeah. I don't know. How does that make you feel? Doesn't make me feel too good. 72 hours. We never think about it. And as I was thinking about the 72 hours that would get a pandemic, a plague worldwide, I began to think that that's also, I think, some of our problems with technology today. It's instantaneous for communication. And I sometimes wonder, and follow me on with me on this one. Is it really as bad as we perceive it to be? Or has it always been this way? And we just didn't have the means in which to send the message around. I wonder. I mean, even if you take population size, all right, and throughout history, as migrations have moved, whether it has been because of, agricultural, economic, you think about the Dust Bowl area. A lot of people don't remember the depression that hit, but what the depression was man-made, number one. When the depression hit in full earnest in the 20s, now many people look at 1929 as the great stock market collapse. Actually, if you go back and really study it, the economy was collapsing upon itself before the stock market crash. But interestingly enough, was that in the United States, because of shifting weather patterns, the United States experienced one of the worst droughts. And it just so happened to hit where most of the food was grown. And then that was due in part as well because farmers didn't know how to farm and till properly. And so you had this shift in the climate, the jet stream, that began to send winds, much more from the northwest. And as a result, you had one thing build upon the other, and then you had the Great Depression. I don't know how many of you may remember this, but the movie The Grapes of Wrath, great movie. You really should watch it because it was really shot by what was really taking place. And a lot of times when we see today where the news media is trying to create an illusion by bringing up, whatever it is, it's always divisive. No matter what it is, it's always dividing. And the thing about the movie with The Grapes of Wrath was that, excuse me, you have to have your hot beverage on, in the evenings. By the way, remember to turn your clocks back tomorrow night. But getting back to the movie, America has always been divided. In the Great Depression, as the migration, and it was the poor, the very poor, that were moving from what was then the bread belt that became the Dust Bowl. Oddly enough, California was experiencing the best type of weather you could have. And so there was this large migration westward of influx of people. And the people that were there weren't too friendly. They could see the handwriting on the wall. And what you don't read was that a lot of bigotry, a lot of prejudice. And it wasn't so much racial as it was economic. And people would kill each other over jobs. But getting back to that, my point, maybe it's always just been this way. What we were depending on in history was history is always written by the views of the person writing it. And they weren't saints. They weren't perfect. And if you had the cognitive presence of mind to say, well, and it's really a roll of the dice, it's a crapshoot, because you're going to write this and you're hoping that your version of what history was will be accepted. And I think that so often what we're finding today is that we have accepted history written by so-called historians that really weren't historians at all. And maybe we're pulling over the biggest con job ever. And that may be what we're waking up to. We're realizing that, hey, they were just like us. All right. Here's one. This was out of The Guardian. More people are being microchipped. Volunteering. Yep. The reason being, they feel that this is the continuing evolution of cultural change, where it's becoming more driven by the technology and the machine than the human. So by being microchipped, think about all the advantages. and I'll just list them for you. Instantaneous medical records. If you ever have a situation, seizure, cardiac issue, whatever, you could immediately have all of your information right on the spot for the first responders. If you are a victim of a stroke, you're talking something that potentially could save your life. You know, there is the golden hour and then there's the 3-hour window. If you can get in that golden hour and get the right type of treatment, you virtually can have no damage from the stroke. All right, let's talk about security. Just imagine this. Your children are chipped and you could virtually have remote sensors that in a situation of a kidnapping, a lost child, could it be immediately found? Let's talk about the convenience of no more cash, no more credit cards. Everything can be programmed into your chip. It could also be tied into a 24/7 Skynet concept of where your health is monitored 24/7. Imagine, if you would, AI, as AI continues to take over and integrate itself, that you could literally now have your biorhythms monitored 24/7. Security. Let's talk about this. You could have your house, your business, your car, your computer program to your specific biorhythms. In other words, you'd never have to be concerned about being robbed. You could never be concerned again about having someone breaking into your house, because now I'm talking about security systems that, for instance, Comcast is selling. Google will get into it. Trust me, you're going to see Amazon getting into it. So you're going to have basically a 24/7 viral net that now can monitor your homes and buy your biochip. That now all you have to do is be within the radius and it will recognize you and give you access. I could think as well, border crossings. Just think about this. Those that fly frequent flyers. Now I went and got my TSA pre-check when it, went right there to Washington, D.C. in Arlington. But imagine this now, that your biochip has been inserted. It's working for your job, but going through security checkpoints, now you could virtually wave through security because of your biochip. I could see airlines using it. I could see an unending amount of benefits for being microchipped. But I can also give you one very good reason why I would never want to be biochipped. Is because there's a certain, how shall we say, privacy about having your identity. And I find that when you start mixing it with the blood and you start getting it inside, I don't know. Maybe the fact that I grew up on rock and roll, sex and the drugs, that was just part of it. Speaking of sex, apparently there is now a new STD, a new form of syphilis that, are you ready for this? Could blind you. Blind you, I'm saying, within 24 hours. Holy crap. I'm telling you, they're going to use this as another reason for the virtual sex doll industry, which, by the way, is booming. All right, CBS is bringing back now to live streaming on demand The Twilight Zone. I did not know this, but when The Twilight Zone runs during the holidays specials, the Sci-Fi does it every year. Other stations pick it up where they do the Twilight Zone marathons. They rate almost as high as the football. So, it tells you that those guys back there knew something. Well, they defined science fiction. They really did. I grew up. How many of you, all right, so I'm 62, you know that, grew up to the sci-fi movie Kal-Tiki. I remember just another one, They Live. That's about the giant ants. And there was a healthy dose of that coming out of Hollywood. I mean, it was just one sci-fi flick after, and they were all driven upon the Cold War theme. I mean, if we didn't have the Cold War, sci-fi may have never, who knows which direction it would have gone in. Gene Roddenberry, when he started Star Trek, wanted to change that mindset. I got to say, Gene, travel on. So I thought that was interesting. New York Times headline article, witches are everywhere. It appears that spiritualism is exploding. So much so that even the Pope is worried about this. He's worried about this rebirth of paganism. All you pagans? Someone called me a pagan. Fine. Occultism. I mean, what's the difference in a title? Everyone has a mantra, right? So this article went on to say that millennials, now, the millennials are the ones that are now the ages of, I think they're the 21 to 40, 45, I think, something like that. Anyway, they are flocking out of churches and into the occult, paganism. And the Pope recently made the comment that he feared for humanity's soul, that if this was to really be indeed catching on, and it is catching on. Remember this, every religion has its time. There was one before Christianity, there was one before Islam, one before Judaism. They just all take their turn at the table. It's like the UN. You vote one guy at the head of the table. And, the guy that's been at the head of the heap, well, he ain't going to be at the head of the heap, I dare say, in 1,000 years. I don't know what kind of new religion. I have no doubt that it will be driven by AI. Transhumanism is a reality. And as it continues in the evolution of our species, as we continue to evolve, we're going to beginning to see in the next probably 100 generations that they will be completely what I would call biocircuitry. They will, in fact, be more, I think, on the exoskeleton machine. And I have no doubt that in some genetic lab right now, someone is perfecting a synthetic brain matter, and they're going to enhance it. As though what we got already, they can't figure out. But that's what man does. And I would not surprise me that within 100 generations from today, that the integration of transhumanism is so integrated. I just watched the movie THX 1138. And that, if you haven't watched that movie, you really should, because it really, George Lucas produced that. Robert Duvall starred in it. It was actually one of Duvall's very first movies, although Robert Duvall was in a number of Twilight Zone episodes. And I watched it and I was just looking at it through different eyes. And it is, I don't think George Lucas could see what the integration of technology, no one could see it. I still remember my first Apple II. How many of y'all remember things? It was about a box like this, had a screen like that, and the program was very simple, very simple. But no one could see where technology is today. And if you just look at the rapid exponential leaps that are now coming because of AI, in 100 years, we'll be praying to it. And it's already happening. I already did a story on that. How about this one? Prince William says there are too many people and steps must be taken to protect animals over humans. Feeling the love on that one? Getting the warm and fuzzies? You know, when the elite begin to think like that, means you and I should begin to watch our butts. Found this one interesting. Millennials versus Generation Z. Oddly enough, apparently millennials would rather live in communism. Recent survey of both Generation Z and millennials was that they find that the millennials basically lazy. That's what it says. I mean, I can synthesize it down, but, and the thing about it is that when they ask them in the survey, this is what was crazy. 71% of millennials do not know the definition of communism. Really? And they somehow think that capitalism is, you know, the worst thing that's out there. Now, coincidentally, of millennials today, the largest percentage, and by the way, this is more males than females, still live at home. Talk about failure to launch. All right. Miami Herald. Students, they got a program they're testing there. Bulletproof backpacks. It's gotten that bad now. You know, when I was going to school, the last thing that I ever thought about was a shooting. I was more interested in flirting with the blonde-headed girl. But yeah, I mean, I think what we had to worry most back then was the war with Russia, nuclear war. We practiced two things in California schools: earthquakes and nuclear bombs. Now, I would probably rather take that than to have to think I have to wear a bulletproof backpack. People are living on the edge. This week in Ohio, a man went through the drive-through and found out at the local McDonald's that they had no egg McMuffins. Started shooting. I mean, I like Egg McMuffins, but come on, folks. More Big Brother coming. Department of Homeland Security wants to start deploying facial recognition for moving cars. This will be initially deployed at the border, but then will be quickly integrated into local law enforcement. How many of you saw that movie Metropolis? Feeling good now? How many of you going to get the new iPhone, huh? So the iPhone 8 was a dud, but now they skipped 9. Not even going to do 9. Coming out with 10. So the iPhone 10 starting at $1,000. You know, it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to finance. Oh, you already have to finance your phone. CDC reports continually decline in births in America while death rates continue to outpace the birth rates. That equation isn't good. But then again, why would you want to have sex if you can go blind? They always told you that would happen. How about this one? Talk about feeling the love. More and more cities are reporting groups of teenagers beating strangers, calling it the knockout game, knock out even babies deliberately, and somehow doing this on Facebook Live as though this is somehow the new thing. Recent story. How about this one? Apparently 3 8-year-olds were arrested. How do you arrest 8-year-olds? I mean, seriously, I don't think the handcuffs would work. Anyway, for plotting to kill a playmate. How many of you saw that story here about the 4 teens in Tennessee that apparently thought it was a fun game to throw rocks over the overpass on Interstate 75? Killed a person. They thought it was funny. Which then will validate this next little tidbit that IQs of millennials in particularly have dropped not just by a small percentage, but apparently when you look at the curve, the decline is not good. So, last one before we get into the main part of tonight's program. In Austria, Salzburg to be exact, the city is now having to cover lampposts with airbags. Want to know why? Yeah, you guessed it. People are texting and walking right into lamppost. Okay. All right. So odd, is it not? Let's see in here. I want to just stop in and see how things are going. Just checking in to see how y'all are doing in there. Good to see y'all. Yeah, $1,000 for a smartphone. All right. Now, I want to show you something, right? So give me a second here to... Give me 1 second here. I'm working on something, folks. So y'all just chat away. Reminds me of a Paul McCartney song. Chat away, chat away. Okay. Do. How y'all doing? I haven't left you. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Let me get back over here. How y'all doing? All right. So, how many of you believe in possession? Fake? Real? All right. I know you can see the screen because I can see it. Check this out, folks. Watch this in the chat room. What's going on here? I don't think that this is a seizure. I'm going to tell you why. Oh, look over at the right at the cans. You see it in the, look at that. All right. Y'all probably have seen this before, but I just wanted to show it and let's just talk about this. So you have to listen to the sound on this one a little bit down. So there's screams coming out of that room. Don't go in the room. It's 1409. I would wait for the police too, John. Man, this guy's got a set of brass. Woo. I hate it when spirits don't pay the room tab. Partying like that. John, are you there? So there's no one in the room, but all the furniture and the carpet's been tore up, the shower's on. I'm telling you what, they know how to party, folks. That's what I'm saying. I mean, think about it. The Who? These spirits, they really know how to do it, man. That's all I got to say. Look at that. Okay. I don't know about you, but that looks like a real ghost to me. All right. So check this one out. Woman's just sweeping the floor. Hello. Yeah, that's exactly what I do too. Or maybe we could say, hello. Look at that. Okay. So, got another one here for you. Looks real to me. Now, this one's really strange. Boom. Mate, did we just hit something? Well, felt like it. No one there. Okay. Now, the weird thing is, folks, the figure was carrying that. So I don't know what's going on, but it's a great lead in to this next one. Now, I want to let y'all watch this next one. Oh, here's another accident scene. And there goes the spirit. You know, as you begin to see more and more of these tragic accident scenes where the individuals die, and you can actually see them ascending. Now, this one I think is really weird. So this black figure is following this dude. It's with an accident. And of course, as you saw, he did eventually die 3 days later. Now, I want you to see, I have no idea about this one. Now, this one here, I just want to give you a little commentary on this. So I have actually did a frame by frame, and I'll show it to you, the analysis. But I believe that this is probably the best example of an interdimensional being. We'll see here in a couple of minutes. There is a real phenomenon taking place over here. It is literally manifesting out of another timeline or whatever. And there you can see. And you can see that this guy's hands, he's the responsible. Now watch, he puts his hands in and like he just simply evaporates. Watch this. He just, and of course, this dude's going, what? Oh, here's one. You know, I stayed at a lot of hotels in my days. I guess I never was aware how many of them. I guess I never realized how many spirits really dug that thing. Okay. So, what do you think? Weird, huh? I think it is. It's very strange. And there's yet another one, even on top of those. I'm just reading some of the comments. Trying to get help here. All right, so I'm just reading. I think his hands, all right, so let me do this. Give me 1 second to pull up. There we go. So I did, as I said to you, this analysis. Let me get out here. I have to get it pulled up here so you can actually see it. So bear with me. Y'all just take care of y'allself there. Don't mind me. Okay. That'll work. All right. I think I got it. So check this out. All right. So we'll do a frame by frame. This is in the reverse, right? Pulling in the reverse polarity. So here's our guy. He's just chumming along. Now here is our friend. So here he is right here. He's coming in. In fact, his leg hasn't even, it looks like him fully materialized there. So let's go forward. Here it is in the regular light. So we couldn't see that because it's so bright, but when I took it and reduced the brightness, this is what's happening behind the lights. All right. You can see here, there's a blur. Now, there's a transference of power. You're going to see it just gets really like a ball of plasma here. And then it begins to materialize over here. Look at this. So, and here they're materializing over here. And now here's our guy. Let's just take a look at him. And you can see there's two different heat sources. But let's move on. I love doing this kind of stuff. So here's our mystery man. I'm going to go through this one more time, even slower. So here he comes. You see it happening right over here? He's starting to actually right here. And now our man is fully now coming in to view, as they would say. Let's zoom in on him here. There you go. It's the gloves that, or whatever it is. Now he's reaching out, as you can see. Right here, he's reaching out for this dude right now. That's just weird. So here are the two figures. The individual on the Rigsaw, and then our time traveler here. I'm calling him a time traveler. He may be an interdimensional being, or maybe this is an experiment. The Philadelphia experiment. And here, I wanted to get frame by frame. Now you see the light that's now generated here? It's a huge. And so what I did is that I went in there and took the gamma down. And like I said, there is a teleportation or whatever you want to call it. And watch it materialize here. You see the energy ball getting larger? And then they actually start to materialize. Let's blow up this, because this is where they really start to. So here's our dude. And then he comes into focus. So, time traveler, interdimensional being, I don't know. Two different. So I'm really trying to get this guy into focus as to what's going on here. And here, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if our military or some private corporation doesn't already have this technology. What do you think? Strange, isn't it? So, are we seeing an interdimensional being? Are we seeing someone who has the technology that can use light to travel, to actually alter time? I mean, the intervention of that one was just incredible. Now, I have another video. I hope you're all enjoying this. I can only assume. I can't see you. Okay. Hi, everyone. Just saying hello. Okay. I got another one. Because this stuff is good. I don't care what anyone says. I find this to be just interesting. So let me go up here. I want to get another video pulled up. Okay. I don't want to waste your time on some of the ones that you could go, well, I don't know, Steiger. I've been having Ringo Starr in my head. Just so y'all know. All right. So, y'all ready for another one? I think you're going to like this one. All right. Guys out there in the jungle. It looks like the jungle. Kind of just, you know, why not? Probably hot and humid. So, you know, kind of look at the road. Hey, you, the what? What? Now, number one, I'm asking myself, I don't deny, don't, I absolutely believe that that is a spirit. Absolutely. Why they like the jungle, I don't know. But apparently they do. Now, here's a strange one. What? You know, is it maybe the fact, folks, that our planet, our energy of this planet, there are just so many souls here? Why is it that some seem to ascend, but yet others stay? I don't know. I mean, is that a child? Is it, I don't know, something other than a child? Another life form that, you know, has the looks and the feel of a child? Not rightly sure. This one's a little odd. I'm beginning to believe how much we see ourselves is how we manifest on the other side. What do y'all think about that? Watch this. Okay. checking out all the locks. Yeah, that looks secure there. Okay. Yep. 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 Yeah, it locks there. You know. All right. So so maybe if you have a beard here and you really think you look good in one, I mean, you carry that impression, that image over. I'm thinking yes, definitely. All right. This one, watch. I actually did another frame by frame analysis of this. Folks, that is one strange creature. I'm just telling you. Everyone's like, what? Did y'all see that? Yeah, that one is a freaky one. It's a winged creature. I will tell you that. It is a winged creature. And whatever it was wanting, apparently it must take a lot of energy to manifest. I mean, seriously, if you're emitting those type of photons, yeah, you've got to be really exerting a lot of energy. Ever say that, you know, you have someone following you? Now, I want to show you out something why this one is strange. This guy has a spirit following it, and if you look at it, his shadow is going this direction. So this dude really, look at this. How many of you, us, actually have spirits right beside us right now? No, I'm serious. Think about this. It's quite obvious. There were 2 or 3 like this. Is that a guardian spirit? Is it a spirit guide? I mean, it's very evident, as you're going to see. Now, watch the dude's shadow. So that ain't his shadow. I don't know. Next time you're taking a shower or a bath, think about this. Yeah, all right. That one was free, folks. You could just enjoy that one for yourself. So we get into this again, and they did a good analysis of it. I mean, I don't know what this is. I really don't. But apparently, now this is our video we've already seen. Now, this one, look at this. I mean, the dog saw it. It was like, what? You know, we all know that dogs, particularly dogs and cats, seem to have the ability to see the spirit realm, the spirit souls, whatever you want to call them. You know, it doesn't enforce, folks. That's the thing that I really do get about this. It doesn't enforce. You know, when we lay the bodies down, yeah. Now this one, number one, I'm trying to figure out, why would you want to be in here to begin with? I mean, unless you're doing a rehab project, right? Because this one just looks weird. And he's showing around, shows you what'll happen in about 10 years. You know, the vegetation will take over. That's what'll happen. Nature always consumes. Okay. Hello. That's just creepy. If you're a spirit, why would you want to be there anyway? Now, this is the one that I posted today about that spirit that you can see it right there. I think those are wings. Y'all can check out the video on that one. I think those are wings. I did a steel by steel on this one. Again, the raw footage. And it looks to me, if not, then that one was definitely in a robe. Now check this one out. This one's just creepy. I mean, remember the story about incubuses and succubuses? So if you have a succubus, which this apparently is, now watch the window, folks. It goes to show you bars do you no good. All right. Well, there's something out there. Whoa. It's in there. Dude, wake up. Wake up, man. Oh, come on. You know, the next time any of you find the covers on the floor, now you're really going to think, what just happened, right? And they go through the whole analysis on this one as well that, yeah. Folks, I'm telling you, we're not alone. It's just a fact. We are not alone. Philo said in the creation of the cosmos that if we could see how many life forms are around us, that in his first century mind, he said that there would not be any void left. Now that's just creepy as all get out. And then the thing comes right through there. I mean, it gives you strong foundation to those stories, right? An incubus or a succubus coming into your room at night, stealing the semen of the men, and, you know. I don't know about you, but that one I ain't digging at all. So anyway, folks, weird, isn't it? There is an afterlife. There truly is. Now, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen all the footage. And if you have footage, send it in. I still want to hear your story. I've gotten several of your emails, by the way. Let you know, I just haven't read through all of them. But a lot of stories. I mean, amazing how many of us have brushed death and still continue to live and talk about it. But I have not seen any video of a spirit going down. I haven't. All of them are pretty much ascend up. And it leads me to believe that there is definitely something. Now, I know a lot of people have defined religious beliefs, and that's what defines you. There's nothing wrong with that. I've learned at my age not to push my beliefs on others, because when I'm finding out my beliefs were, how shall we say, the ambiguity was enough to make it difficult. But no matter what your position is, each of us are going to die. I have more and more credence in the fact that there are sensitives, some call them mediums, that can actually talk to those on the other side. To say that that can't happen is to say then that all the evidence of how we depart is nothing more than myth, folklore, legend at best. Because it appears to be that I don't think any religion's got it right. Now, I don't know why some souls are left here, and Barbara DeLong has got probably, I'm going to have her back. And, you know, I just enjoy and respect her so much because of her experience. And that's something, as you get older, you really do respect another soul's experience, particularly if it's in an area that you are not knowledgeable about. So maybe the best all-time love story movie of the modern era, which has to be Ghost. Maybe you have a different one. Now, I'll digress here for a second. So the earliest memories I have, and I know this is going to sound weird. My dad was in the Air Force. He was dating, I still remember her name, Sandy. And he was home. He was in the Air Force. He was home on leave. And I can remember, well, this is going to sound crazy, but they went to the movies, the drive-in, and I remember it was A Summer Place. And very distinct memories of, you know, those flashes that you have, you know, it's the flashes. And those are my earliest memories. But anyway, getting back to Ghost. Oh, come on. The Righteous Brothers, Endless Love. Oh, come on. Come on. Anyway, best movie, I have to say. But maybe Whoopi was right. You know, it seems like there's a lot of people that apparently didn't get the agenda and are not being recycled back in as fast as I think that maybe we thought they would. I mean, the evidence would seem to say, or suggest to say, that there is a lot of spirits, a lot of souls. Spirit, soul, I still say, I don't know if we have a soul, we possess a spirit. I do know that we have a mind, and that mind is the ability for the spirit, I think, to actually manifest thought. And again, it seems like some do go up, and it seems like others don't. It seems like they do get lost. I heard Barbara say, and I think there's a lot of validity to this, that there's a time loop they get caught in. Wasn't there a Star Trek Generations Yesterday's Enterprise or something? Or no, that was another one where they got caught in the time loop. And it appears that that's the case. I mean, the globe, the earth is a big place. And if you seem to be stuck in a localized area, why? I don't have those answers. I don't think anyone, well, maybe there's others. I don't know. For me to say that there isn't would be to be in error. So give me 1 second here, folks. I'm just getting here, looking at it. How can you tell when brain death happens? I don't know. Talk about the final breath. Yeah, so you know how they used definitely a time loop, Wayne. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence for this, that there is a time loop that it seems like people get caught in. I wonder, is it this? Could you say that, all right, hear me out, that no matter what your position is in your belief systems, and particularly your beliefs of once your life on this plane is over with, maybe there's enough gained that it allows us to go through. I think it's a portal. I really do. I remember the video I saw of the car wreck in Georgia, a mother with her two daughters, and that it was captured on video of, you could tell that it was an adult. At least the light spear was bigger. And then there were two smaller light spears that came up. And I'll pull that up. I don't have it really available, but I went in and did a frame by frame of that one. And oddly enough, it appeared that the larger light spear had arms coming out and was actually reaching for the two smaller ones. Now, I interpreted that as a sentient conscience intelligence that had the capacity for love, so much so that even in the transition process of herself, she had the presence of mind to see her two daughters. Now, I don't know what happened after that. As we saw on the one with the wreck in India. Again, all of these spirits that are being released are all ascending upwards. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I can't see into the spirit realm. I can't see into the ether. I've traveled the astral plane, but it's not the same. There is a clear veil between our two existences. We all know that. Y'all know that. Y'all are some smart people in there. But I often wonder if that transition zone is a zone that we can't see, that it's a barrier. And it's only spirit that gets through. And if you remember in the scene in Ghost, remember when Patrick Swayze had the first time when he was actually shot, and he realized he was dead, that the light came down and he failed to get with it. How many of y'all remember that? So could it be just that away? Is it? I don't know. It seems like everyone that I've seen so far, and I am still here, I haven't died, neither have you, that there really does seem to be something there. And maybe it's a mixture of all this. I don't know. But there's obviously that there are souls that are trapped here. Again. And then I wonder, are they all from here? You ever thought about that? We naturally assume that the souls that are here are all bipedals, Homo sapiens. But we know that, Homo erectus, Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, they lived here. I'm sure they had spirits, souls. Do you think we all go to the same place? I mean, how would you relate to a Neanderthal? Maybe they were very intelligent. I don't know. According to some books I've read, they say that Cro-Magnon man was actually what dominated Atlantis, that species. Very intelligent. Their cranial structure was larger than ours. They had greater strength. They were taller. So when you die, what do you think the odds are that you'll actually meet a Cro-Magnon? What are the odds that we would meet a Gray? And it's obviously there's a life after this, so I'm just throwing it out. I tell you what this does do for me, just personally, and I know I've really gone over here, but this is what it does for me personally. it takes the fear factor out of this. You know, I don't know what the experience is like. I don't think it's, I suffered from kidney stones at one point in my life. Yeah, I personally don't know how anything, and by the way, guys, as I've heard it said, now I haven't experienced it, but women who have experienced kidney stones have agreed that probably for a guy, it's about as close as what we'll ever get to actually know what childbirth is like. I don't want to know. And, you know, if the past life regression is true, that we've been through this before, and some as male, some as female, I don't know. All I know is that the kidney stones that I passed was an excruciating pain. The meningitis, holy crap. That was pain. They say that the brain can't feel pain. BS on that. Because I can tell you, my brain was hurting. Right before I fell into the coma. Woo! Let me tell you what it's like to have about 105 temperature and talk about dementia setting in. Whoa. It was an experience that I wouldn't recommend, but I'm just saying, all of you probably have experienced your own type of pains, you know. I don't see how death could be that painful. I really don't. I mean, even if you got beheaded, I mean, how long is that going to hurt? I know, I digress, but you have to admit, think about this. I did a program earlier this week, and boy, you got some great responses, by the way. The death factor, y'all remember that on Wednesday night show, and some I have a delightful I call her friend, Janie, lives over in and I want to make this, I believe it's Britain, I believe it is, and just a delightful soul. And so the orgasmic aspect of it, I think it's kind of something to look forward to. Listen, if death is the inevitability, right, is the one that we're going to cross the line with, well, by God, I hope it is just that way. I hope it is an orgasmic experience that just sends my butt right on off. I mean, and all the rest of our butts. I'm assuming we still have butts. I don't know. But I think I've really digressed on the show. So I'll look over here at the chat room one more time and just see how it's going. Kelsey, I'm seeing that your sister had spinal meningitis. Yeah. Yeah, you know how long it took me to recover from the meningitis? To share a little story with you on that. What people don't know is that for me, when this disease started hitting me, it actually took several months for it to really hit me hard. I was exhibiting signs of Lyme disease. Didn't know that I had it. In fact, back then in 1992, Lyme disease was really not known about. And I was doing a lot of traveling, which was the worst thing that could happen to you. And I remember we were in Las Vegas at a trade show. Man, never forget it. Excuse me, woke up one morning, left side of my neck hurt, and I was running a fever. You know, I just couldn't figure this out. And it was odd because the fever was making me sick. So the next morning, The pain was on the other side of the neck. That night, I remember, for those of you who've ever gone to Las Vegas, it was down, that was before the Fremont experience, but at the Four Queens, they have a restaurant down there that you really should check out. It's a great, great restaurant, but this fugue came over me, went back to the hotel room, and holy crap. So when I came out of the coma, they were giving me heavy doses. Now, the neurologist that saved my life, if she hadn't been in there, they were going to drill into my head to relieve the pressure. They thought that my brain was swelling. She just happened. It shows you how sometimes in life, maybe we do have guardian spirits, whatever. If she grew up in the Philippines, and when my friend had brought me in there, I'd already lapsed into the coma. And I later heard the story. She told me it. She said that they were going to drill into the back of my head. And she asked any of them if they had done a lumbar puncture, spinal tap. No one did. And she said, I think that this man has got meningitis. And long story short, when they took my fluid out the first time, it was cloudy. It was yellow. It was it was terrible. I was dying. So they gave me so many drugs afterwards that here was the downside. Saved my life. I was paralyzed on the left side of my body. The thing was that my neurologist knew that I couldn't get upset. So the drugs that they gave me, there was a cocktail of about 14 of them, affected my emotions. I didn't have any. And unfortunately, for those type of drugs, the recovery for me took almost 6 years. 6 years to recover from the meningitis and the Lyme disease. And the little package, those little bastards left, those little spirochetes left for me, is that today I suffer from fibromyalgia. And it's terrible. I mean, there's people who suffer from it. It's hard to tell other people that when there are times when literally it feels like, there are both, you're sticking your finger into a light socket, and at the same time, every nerve in your body is going off, and it's extremely painful. All right. Like you really wanted to hear that. That really sucked. So, okay, folks. Thank you for coming in, spending some time, gracing me with your presence. And I hope that it hasn't been a waste of time. Hope that it's been entertaining. Listen, we're going to continue on this subject. Listen, I am going to pursue the idea of putting, I don't know what to call them. I don't know if enlightenment centers, I don't know if it's transition centers, but I think we as a culture, as a society, as a species, are ready to break through the taboos about death. Americans, particularly the Western cultures, now it's, I think, a natural thing with us all. We don't want to think about death, but that's the problem. We should reconcile it at a very early age. I say that we should reconcile it before you get to be an adolescent. I think the subject should be well discussed. I think it should be brought out that this is the path of life. And I think once you know that the eventual path of where it leads, it frees you up consciously to pursue those things that you were meant to do here. Could we ever have a utopia? I don't know, because I don't think we, you, me, we could never be satisfied. Never. It's impossible. Mortal bliss is an illusion. And mankind can never be satisfied. We're never satisfied. We accept, we resign, we even pacify, but we're never satisfied. I think that that's what part of death is. It's reaching that point to where we can find that moment of understanding, of being satisfied. Hey, listen, I followed a religion for nearly 50 years, and it never brought me that peace. Now, I'm happy to say I have found it, and exploring it is just wonderful. It's fascinating because it allows me, I'll just tell you, this morning, this is where my head's at. Now, we all have our own personal battles. Every one of you in the chat room and everyone that'll watch this, I know you've got personal battles. You got struggles. I mean, we all do. It's just what life is. But as I have begun to put the pieces together for myself, and you're part of this journey, this morning, the fog moved in. Now, it's kind of cool because, you know, those of you that live along the coast, particularly, you know, on the Pacific side, you know what the fog is coming in. Well, it came in, it was 29 degrees. And within 15 minutes, there was this white covering getting on things. And then the most phenomenal thing happened. As the sun was coming up, it hit just as it came over the horizon with that pink and golden kind of red color that hit that fog, that ice fog. And it was beautiful. It was surrealistic. See the poster behind me, surrealism. Great thing, it was at the Guggenheim back in 1999. That was a non-paid endorsement. But in any case, it's allowed me to take in those moments. I can feel it with my mind. It's really weird. I know that sounds strange, but you can do that. Yeah. Anyway. All right, folks. Who'd have thought it went this long? Thank you all again. Appreciate you so much. Have yourself a great weekend. Tune in on Sunday over at Jeff Doherty's channel, The Christian Whistleblower, for our Sunday morning program. It's not your normal Sunday morning show. And might have a show tomorrow night, just depends. And if not, we'll see you definitely more. I've got several programs I'm doing that, well, it all ties in. All right, folks, good evening. Thank you again. We'll talk real soon.